Hello, everyone. My name's Hank Suttala,
Aloha, I'm Brian Daniel Edwards.
and we're here with another episode of Midnight Meanderings with Stir Crazy Shamans. Welcome to everyone. We're so grateful that you're tuning in here. And if you have any questions or if you have comments that you'd like to make throughout the show here, feel free to make them. We love it when we have the interaction. We can kind of allow you to help direct where the show's going to go. And I know Brian has had, I'm sure, an action-packed week. He had a scramble to get back to his home island before travel got cut off. So where would you like to start
Yeah,
our conversation?
well, I guess I can talk about that. So it's crazy. There is, I think we're now up in Hawaii, an astronomical of deaths from the scamdemic. We're up to 29 people have died. Um, so they're shutting the whole state down, and you can't go in between islands. You can't go to parks again. Well, at least on Oahu. On the Big Island, it doesn't seem to be happening that way. However, they're shutting all the parks down again. Even on Maui, they're shutting parks down. On the Big Island, it doesn't look like anything's happening here. But we'll see. Wait a couple days, and they might lock everything down again. And there's 29 people that died. I bet more people died of a stub toe and a staph infection than the COVID. So
The way you
yeah,
have of putting things. And my sister's actually tuning. It's going to be a family night because I know Brian's mom is going to be tuning in to watch us too. But that's my
yeah,
sister saying hangs up late. Actually, every Tuesday we stream this, or I guess it's technically Wednesday, but we could do a midnight meandering show with my brother Brian out in Hawaii. The thing that changed though is recently StreamYard now allows me to stream to way more locations, so I was able to add Periscope back in where we hadn't been streaming to Periscope before. So welcome, Shirley. But if you want to go back, we always stream to YouTube. It's just Periscope. If we have to pick between them, we don't have as much interaction on that one, so we drop it. But anyway, but now we can stream to even more things. But what else is going on over in your neck of the woods? You had the
um,
hurricane. Now you're back on your home island.
yeah. I'm back on my home island. I'm well. I want to change my home island over to Maui. I went to Maui and it was amazing. Uh, my two favorite islands. So I've now hit four out of the Hawaiian islands. There's only a couple that right now really are not accessible. Uh, Kauai, I don't want to say is xenophobic, but they don't like outsiders. So I went to Kauai. The land and energy was amazing, absolutely beautiful. The people were friendly and nice, but you could tell you're an outsider, and there wasn't really any connections made. Usually, when I go somewhere, within a few hours, I find a place to stay, and within a few days, I find work. Neither of that happened in Kauai. I ended up, even friends and connections I had didn't have extra room or anywhere safe. For the, I have a lizard running up on me. There's tons of flies around here, and the lizard just crawled up my arm and snatched the fly off of me. Uh,
Well, that's interesting. But I just want to bring this up. This is what you sent me before. This kind of shows people the islands. I assume with the X on them are the ones that you have been to, or those? Yeah, those are the ones you've been to. It's just those small little ones that you weren't able to get to then, right?
yeah, so I made it to the first one down at the bottom is the Big Island. I got there in October of 19. Wait, was that 19 or
Yep, 2019.
yeah, sorry. Time doesn't exist here on the islands. I don't know what day of the week it is most times, or I know if the sun's up, it's day. If the sun's down, it's nighttime.
In fact, if it wasn't for us streaming every Tuesday, you probably have no idea what time it is. But we keep you a little bit on a regular schedule now.
Yeah, I have my alarm set. Lets me know. Uh, so yeah, it's really, yeah, really kind of crazy. It's on island time here, and we're just outside time. I don't watch the news anymore. Just, it's such a great way to tune out. It's such an amazing place.
Yeah. And I know I
Uh,
mentioned this on the stream before, but in the Hawaiian language, like the before it was modernized when we discovered it or whatnot, there was no past or future tense in the language. It was just now. Then so like it kind of is fitting when you say island time. There's I think a little bit of that energy, that belief that has rolled into even when you're on the islands, how kind of time freezes or whatnot.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, are we still connected? It's actually kind of funny.
Yep, we're connected. I think you're just having internet issues.
Okay. Yeah, it seems to the internet has not been acting very well on the island lately. I don't know what's going on. Uh, so yeah, the first one down at the bottom is Hawaii, the Big Island. Uh, it's called the state of Hawaii because King Kamehameha the First, with his armies, sailed in between each island and conquered each island and made all the islands. So like the Kingdom of Maui, I think there's a North Kingdom and a South Kingdom. Uh, Oahu had its own kingdom. Kauai, Niihau, all had their own independent.
That's not what I wanted. I think this is the one you sent me that just had like all the actual island names on it, since you are kind of
Yeah, yeah.
running through them.
So starting down at the Big Island, that's where he started his conquest. Up in Hawaii is where he was born, up in North Kohala. That's the region. So that's on the north of the Big Island. And Hawaii, the island, is typically referred to as the Big Island. Kaha'ole is a little island. It's not as little as I thought it was when I got to see it from Maui. That is bombed out. During World War II, they used it as target practice, and they bombed it so hard they broke the water table. So there's basically no water held on that island. It's a desert island. Nothing's going on besides the secret military base underneath the island, which I probably shouldn't have said on air. People see like UFO type things flying in and out of it all the time. So it's also supposedly submarine based. So no one's allowed to go over there. No one's allowed on it because all kinds of unexploded ordnances from World War II. Yeah, okay. It was the like belly button or the connecting center focal point of all the islands. So it had great importance to it. Also, it was a city of refuge, almost like a prison colony back in Hawaiian time. Maui is a magical place. It is beautiful. That is where I was at over the last couple of days. So
And
I was planning
from the
on,
stream last week, was that pictures from Maui, or was that somewhere else?
that was probably from Kauai and maybe even Oahu. I can send you some new pictures
No,
of Maui.
it's no. You're freezing already, so send the pictures and we can do a piece on that next time. Because if you try to send
Okay.
them now, it's gonna tank your data, and you're already freezing a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Which I'm on Wi-Fi, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why.
There's good Wi-Fi and there's bad Wi-Fi. No, not
Yeah.
all Wi-Fi's are created equal.
Yeah. Uh, so Maui is where I went last week. Amazing. I drove the road to Hana, and I've heard people say, "Oh, that road is hairy. You got to be careful on it." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I've driven back roads in the mountains, and not that bad. Oh man, I didn't. For one, I thought the speed limit was 35. It was not. It was half of that. So I was like going 42 ish. Yeah, speed limit was 15. So
So
I,
when's your
I made.
court date? Did you get a ticket?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I did blow. Well, no, it didn't actually happen there. On the way out, the road was so bad again. So I went in one way, and I was squealing tires around every corner. It had pretty tight handling. It was kind of fun. Felt like I was back in the country again. Flying around the old country roads, doing the Dukes of Hazzard thing. Uh, but then on the way back out of there, it blew a tire. I'm like, oh man. So there was a road you continue through Hana, and it was absolutely beautiful. The road to Hana was amazing. That's where the seven sacred pools are. I cannot remember the Hawaiian name, but it was powerful. There's little grottos in the wall. So there's these, it's like a river, but then there's a drop in a pool, a drop in another pool, a drop in another pool. So you go from one to the next to the next to the next. So I was told the third pool had a message for it. So I climb up. I kind of swam through a couple of the pools. And I literally had to climb a rock face to get to the third pool. Uh, so I climb up and I get in the water. It was pretty cold because it's water coming down from the mountain. And I submerged myself and I felt something grab my foot. And I'm like, okay, getting out of the water right now. So, yeah, I don't know for sure what it was. I'm going to say it was crawfish and just hoping it was not a mo'o. So I didn't want to play around with that because people drowned in those. Um, like in little pools, little ponds, people drowned in Hawaii. And the legends say that it's the mo'o that do it.
And you'll have to bring us up to speed, including myself. What is the moho?
The mo'o are reptilians. There's different stories. Anything between an eel, a snake, a serpent, all the way
But a,
up to like a reptilian creature.
but a quote unquote mythical creature.
Yeah, quote unquote mythical creature. Now, my friend Ryan on Oahu, I really want to get him on the webcast. He speared an eel, and this thing was massive. We're talking like 30-foot long. It came out, it wrapped around his metal spear, and bent it. And almost like, you know, it was crazy. So then after he did that, he went back in to go fishing again the next day, and all these eels were like kind of coming up and almost like hissing at him underneath the water. Like, okay, this is not cool. He then shortly after that got attacked by sharks. And every time he got in the water in that area, sharks kept coming after him. It wasn't until he kind of did a ceremony and made peace that he could go back in the water without trouble. Uh, so, and there's stories of mo'o like in the Blue Room and other, like it's a cave with water in it, absolutely blue. I almost made it to it on Kauai, but people drowned in that all the time. Imagine a cave with kind of a little pool in it. People drowned all the time. And here, the mo'o and other mythological creatures like the menehune and other creatures, they're as real as the chickens running around the road. Nobody questions them, especially like the Hawaiians. They just know they're there. Like the night marchers, they just know they're there. People see them quite often. So it isn't anything like, oh, it's a legend Grandpa used to tell, you know, scared little kids. Nah, it happens here. People die. You piss off the nature spirit, there's consequences. Oh yeah, so I was swimming in that pool and it was kind of a murky brown because it was a river, and I felt something grab my foot and I'm like, I'm out. Okay, I got the experience. So then after that, I worked with my friend Ava and had this amazing experience. She's highly gifted. She can see amazing things. Her gift of vision is incredible. We went to a sacred beach on Maui. It was so cool. Just the beauty of this beach, regardless of the energy, just the beauty of this beach was astounding. A perfect white sand beach with calm water, a view of Lanai, Molokai, and Kaho'oli, the bombed out island. Oh, that was amazing. Oh, I didn't finish going through that chart. We'll get back to that later. Uh, so yeah, so I'm on this beach and had this incredible experience. She's pulling these things off of me. She could feel, and a lot of the things that I've gotten through meditation or through actively remote viewing them and going, okay, what's going on? Like in my solar plex, I'm like, okay, why am I having pain in my solar plex? And what the biggest answer I got was crushing disappointment. Um, it was, kind of programmed in and stuff, but I just wanted to be further along than I am. I wanted some of my financial plans to work out. And I felt this crushing disappointment that I don't have a house yet. I had planned on by now having a house, having investments going on, having passive income so I can move about the world freely. And that hasn't worked out. Granted, we're in the middle of a scamdemic where everything's shut down. But I was just disappointed about that, disappointed about the scamdemic. With the whole idiot apocalypse going on, it just, crushes everything going on in the world. So I thought this was going to be my year of financial freedom, and it's not over yet. And I feel like my next move back to the mainland, planning on coming back, working with you, working with Brian, get some online classes going, get things set up. And once I get passive income, once I have steady sessions booking, I'm going to go back to Maui. That's my plan as of now. But if other doors open up, I'm not opposed to going to Bali.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to
2 years
going
ago,
to,
you never would have thought you were going to be in Hawaii.
yeah. And I'm so lucky. People save up their whole lives to go to Hawaii, and they might catch one island, or they might spend, a day here, a day there, a day on the other island. I have gotten to thoroughly explore all the islands that you can pretty much right now. So I've gotten to, the first one I landed in was Oahu, but that was just for a connection flight over to the Big Island. Didn't really get to spend much time there, but I did like the energy of it. Coming from Australia to Oahu, it just felt vibrant and lively. I can't even put it into words, but it felt, I came from Australia where the land was thirsty. It felt like it was dying of thirst. It was in the middle of the drought. The fires were just getting started. The country was on fire. And the land, it just felt so arid. It was so thirsty. I come to Oahu, and it was this like tropical paradise energy. I then hopped on the plane.
Grabbing my mesa real quick, but keep going. I'll play that solo layout for just a second here.
So then from there, I headed over to the Big Island, and I spent quite a bit of time here. I was in Hilo for about a month, and Puna, and the energy is a little bit rough over here. It's kind of like the Wild West. Very lawless. There's a lot of drugs, heavy drugs. A lot of people are highly addicted. Really makes for an interesting scene. A lot of crime, a lot of just lawlessness on this side. I crossed over after about a month on this side over to the north and absolutely loved it. I developed a big family, a lot of friends over there. The energy was wonderful. From what I understand, Kauai was connected to the north of the big Hawaiian island at one point in time. But as the seafloor spread, Kauai kind of shifted out away, and the islands kind of unzipped and rolled out. That's how it's been explained to me. Maybe it's not quite how it happened, but Hawaii is supposedly part of the north of the Big Island. So up there, it was, the energy was wonderful. I loved it. Pololu Valley, one of my favorite places to hang out. Camped down there quite a few times. Really beautiful. Then it was just, you go over going from the Hilo side over to the west side. If you go south, you head to Kona. If you go north, you go to North Kohala. As you cross over the mountain in between Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, the Saddle Mountain or Saddle Road, absolutely beautiful. And you can take it instead of going down to the coast, hitting Kauai High Harbor, and then going north up to Hawaii. you go through Waimea, and there's this road that takes you right on the mountain ridge, and it overlooks it. It is one of the most epic scenic drives I have been on. Absolutely gorgeous. Kind of rugged, especially in Waimea. It's like looks like Colorado. Big mountains, kind of open views. Uh, just a little bit cooler up there. It's just absolutely beautiful. So then I came back here, and I'm lucky I did during this pandemic because everybody was doing civil disobedience. Everybody was actively protesting. We still had gatherings. We still had sweat lodges. We still had song circles, meditation circles. We were sharing breath. Nobody was afraid of a virus. You know, our our rights don't end where other people's fear begins. Um, so we didn't do anything. You know, with the quarantine, absolutely didn't listen to it. We're still going to beaches. Got a ticket once for the beach. That got dismissed instantly when I got to court.
Well, for a long time, all the precautions that they had the island shut down, and you hadn't had an active case on the island for quite some time. And now
Yeah,
it started up again once the airlines started flying, which makes
I
sense.
I'm not sure how many active cases are on the Big Island right now. I know you could freely travel as of June 16th or July 16th in between islands. So I definitely took advantage of that. So my first island I was planning on going to was Maui. So when I was in Australia and things started going sideways, I bust out my pendulum and Google Maps on my tablet, and I had the pendulum take me to anywhere in the world. I'm like, okay, show me where I go next. And it went right to the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Granted, I knew Hawaii was somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Didn't know where. I thought it was further south. So it starts circling. I zoom in, and there's the Hawaiian island chain. Then it takes me right to the south corner of Maui, which was where the seven sacred pools was. And that beach I also talked about as well. So, um, yeah, that was an amazing experience.
Actually, I think we
Uh,
should take a moment and just do a little opening ceremony.
okay, we can do
The
that.
reason, well, because I don't know if you're picking up on some of the stuff I'm picking up on, but I think we may need to process some hucha. So I'm gonna throw my mesa up here, and then I'm just gonna speak in Quechua. And basically, as I'll bring this in. So this is my mesa. It's kind of like elongated view, but the it's going to be representative of Pachamama on the bottom there, and then to the left is the water. Oh, straight up above, which is out of the camera shot, is the wind, and to the right is Inti. And just become very receptive, and I will walk you through this little energetic process, and then a little bit of a clearing process as well. Iari Pachamama, ompui, ompui, ompui. Iari Wilka Pachamama, ompui, ompui, ompui. Attention, Sacred Earth Mother, bring your healing here. Ahaya, Mama Uno, Mama Kocha, Mother Water, Mother Ocean, ompui, ompui, ompui. Bring your healing here. Ahaya, Mama Kia, Wilka Sumac, Mama Kia, ompui, ompui, ompui. Victory and praises to our beautiful sacred moon, bring your healing here. Iari texe lerpu ompui ompui ompui. Ahia wilka waira kuna the sacred winds ompui ompui ompui. Iari taiwantan waira the four winds ompui ompui ompui. Ahia wilka sumak kuntar ompui ompui ompui. Iari sawar kinti ompui ompui ompui. Ahaya, Wilka, Yinti Taita, the sacred sun, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. Iari, Wilka Nina, the sacred fire, Ompui, 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 bring your healing here. Ahaya, Quichikuna, the rainbow, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. Iari, Nustakuna, Apukuna, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. Iari, Yanapakuna, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. Ahia, Wurkanuna Cheska, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. Iari hatan umakuna, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. Iari Wirakocha, Ompui, Ompui, Ompui. And just for a moment, wherever you are, we have opened up the sacred space, this great energetic egg that no matter where you are, we are in this one energy field and just becoming into a state of allowance, allowing the energy from the Hanak Pacha, the upper world, to cascade down through your energy field, effortlessly moving any heavy energies. We call this energy Hucha, allowing it to effortlessly move any heavy energies through your Papapo, your energy field, through your Langkai, your physical body, through your Munnai, your heart center, and effortlessly flow down to the bottom of the energy field, creating this beautiful package of Hucha, this heavy energy that we are going to gift to our beloved Earth Mother, allowing all the trauma and drama around experiences to effortlessly move down to her, keeping only the pearls of wisdom that can be kept of service for yourself and for your fellow travelers on this plane. Yari hanakpacha samanchukui ompui ompui ompui. Yaksi yaksi mu yaksi pui. Very good. Anything you like to add, Brian, before I switch the camera back?
No, I felt a lot of energy moving.
Yeah.
Like I could feel the bubble extending out, and I could feel, yeah, you're moving some heavy energy.
No, I don't know if it's just points of view about what you're talking about or if there was something else going on, but there was definitely some hoocha.
Oh,
So
around the. Okay, did you get on what it was? Was it from one of the places I went to?
we don't need to talk on air about it.
Okay.
But here's Ace was asking, have you guys used bloodstones in healing? I just heard about these yesterday. They change color as they heal someone and lose the red color. I haven't had that happen with bloodstones. I did have that happen with Chinese fluorite. I was at a show and I had given a client two of them to hold in their hands. And me and my friend Dave had done a healing for them. And at the end, when they opened their hands, they were just white. All the green and purple had completely faded and they just turned white. Though I haven't had it happen with bloodstone, but Chinese fluorite definitely. Have you ever had any weird things happen with stones, Brian?
Yeah, actually, I think it was that first time I met you, or one of the first times I met you at Goddess Elite. It was a stone, oregonite or something, the brown and white stone. And I held it, and it got so hot it almost burned my hand. And then I handed it over, and it turned almost white. It was kind of a dark brown, speckled color. And I handed it to you, and you're like, you zapped it, and it turned white.
Oh, so you've had a similar thing, and I know Ace, you were asking if we had that. Have you ever had that happen? I've only seen it, I guess twice. I didn't remember the time with Brian, but now that you say it, it's ringing a bell. But I think that sometimes when someone just when there's a lot of energy running, I always wonder if, like, especially ones that are heat sensitive, like there's certain ones that fade in sunlight. Fluorite's one of them. That during the healing work, all the energy that's running, it just fades the stones. Uh, I don't know. I've tried to work with it and bring it back, but it didn't happen. Okay, so now that we have done that, I'm curious. When you mentioned the seven pools, what it brought up for me is in the Peruvian tradition, they had the different like mountain pools of the mountain, and each one of the pools was like a representative of a different level of the priesthood. So, like depending what level you were trained in, you would you would go to a different pool to bathe, and of course the Inca would bathe at the top one, and then the water would flow down, and you'd be bathing basically in the water of the pool before you, and so on. Is there any similarities, or what's the significance of the seven pools?
I don't know. I didn't get that much background, like traditional background. Since it's the seven sacred pools, everybody immediately links it to the chakras. However, I didn't get a lot of background on that.
Just curious. And then Angela was just contributing for a stone. She's like, "Hi guys, these seriously sound like amazing crystals." Yeah, I do have a piece of bloodstone, but it's my little dragon on my mesa, which I can go grab actually if you guys want to see Silka, because I don't know if you can really see it. No, you can't really see it on the stream. Let me go grab it real quick. So this is a bloodstone actually, and it's a dragon skull carved out of bloodstone. So it's kind of one of my favorite medicine pieces currently, and she is definitely a little healer energy. You find that with skulls specifically, they always seem to have their own little personality. It's almost like their own little consciousness when you start getting into crystal skulls. And you were with us too when we had the Crystal Max concert. Were you with us one
Oh
time, or
yeah,
which was
yeah,
those?
we did that.
At the
Yeah,
Masonic Lodge? Were you at the Masonic Lodge one, or which one were you at?
I was the one that got us elite. Remember, we set up my
Oh,
pyramid.
yes.
Tried
I
to
don't know if I got
this.
that one on recording.
Oh, that would have been great if we did.
Yeah, I have one. If you go to Sonic Shaman YouTube, if anyone's interested, or go to hanksuttala.com, and I think it's under streams, there's like videos where it's like an hour and a half concert recording broken up into two parts of me, Sonic Alchemy, and the Gong Experience doing all kinds of sound work and an integration, basically an integration ceremony for people to tap into the energy of all the great crystal skulls of the world, because Max has sat with all of them. So it's kind of a cool little experience, and everything that I did for everybody there, I also brought and did it to the camera. So if you're really receptive as you go through it, you actually get those little attunements and those connections, the CK lines that we draw between Max and whoever is on the other side of the camera. And I agree. She says, "Oh my God, she's beautiful." Yes, she is. I love Silka, and that was also one of the few skulls that ever directly told me the name. It's like there was no question. This is Silka, which is cool. It's a German name, so it must be a German skull, right? I don't know. All right. So, what else have you been up to? Anything specifically, anything around the healing type of stuff, or spiritual or shamanism?
Oh yeah, so that we did. Ava and I did a healing exchange, and she
Sorry,
removed like
who's
attached.
Ava? I'm sorry, I forget the name Ava.
Oh, my friend on Maui, very
Okay,
powerful, very gifted in the vision, and she saw things that whatever like implants from the military, and she removed them. She had this one spinning disc like above my head. It was like right here. I don't know what part of the brain that controls, but she was saying that, yeah, I've never seen this before, but it's gone now. She removed it. So that was really interesting. As you leave these programs in the military, they put things on you and in you through uh, a lot of different means to block your memories, whether it's psychological programming and hypnosis. Uh, they can create it so it's painful for you to try and remember. You get really bad headaches and other things. So a lot of people that have been in the project talk about these things, and it's quite common actually.
I was going to try to see if I had a picture of that Crystal Skull concert, but I don't. Oh well.
I have them somewhere,
Yeah, I'll
not on
find
my
them
phone.
for next time. I'll have it ready. I just thought I figured I would have posted one on my Facebook page, but apparently not. That's all right.
So my new computer won't even power up now. Well, it powers up, gets to the Dell screen, and won't get past that.
The new
So
one
now I
that
gotta,
someone sent you?
yeah. So it's something with the hard drive, or I got a virus or something. I don't know what happened.
Or you fried it like the crystal. There's quartz in computers. Maybe you got to be careful around them.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of electronics issues, so that very well could be. It started not recognizing my external hard drive, so I couldn't transfer my pictures off my camera. And then it all of a sudden just went power on. So,
A question for you, because this is, people might relate to this. When Brian went to one of the islands recently, he suddenly had like headaches and a lot of things going on. Were we ever able to figure out exactly what was going on with that, or was it just like you and the land were just not in sync?
I it was on the Big Island, and a friend also came back to the Big Island, and she felt that same vertigo, that same headache develop as soon as she put food back down on the ground here. I felt it coming back this time, but it was not. I was not affected like I was the last time. So coming back from Kauai, I flew back from Kauai. That's like the crown chakra island, high energy. I felt amazing. I I flew back to stopped in Oahu. The energy was still pretty decent there. Flew back to the Big Island, and it was like I had a massive hangover, a massive migraine, and it was just so bad. I and now it's kind of subtly back. It's not the way it was when I left. So obviously something happened in Maui, and I'm feeling a lot better. So I'm not letting it affect me this time. But I can feel the energy that caused it, and it's pretty rough here
Hopefully, it will
on
be.
this side.
Oh,
However, when you cross over the mountain and go to the west side or the north side, so Kona or North Kohala, I feel great over there. There's something about this Hilo side.
it'd be interesting if you could douse and like find exactly where, like, if there's like an equator, like a thing on this side, I feel it, on this side, I don't. It would be kind of interesting to play with that.
It's pretty much when you go up the mountain. Yeah, and it doesn't come back until you start descending down into the Hilo area. So once you kind of get down the foothill of Mauna Kea, that's when it starts kicking in.
I guess you're more of a Hanakpacha person. Upper
I
world.
forget what that's. Oh,
Hanakpacha
yeah,
upper
yeah.
world. You're gonna have to take a refresher on the whole program, man. I'm kidding. Kind of.
I'm trying to memorize Hawaiian. I was trying to learn some ancient Hebrew, so my Tetra is a little bit rusty.
No, but for everybody watching, what questions are in your mind? What topics are in your mind? Because I there's something odd in the air still, and so I'm just wondering if anybody has something on their mind that we could speak to and maybe kind of sift through whatever energy is out there and going on. Oh, this is something you were alluding to earlier, Brian. What's your ETA to Ohio? I have a bunch more laptops I could look at your issue or swap it out.
Oh, that would be great. What's going on with it is it start it started the fingerprint sensor never worked, and I tried to get drivers for it, and I couldn't figure that out. The Bluetooth didn't work, so I'm like, okay, no big deal. But then recently, within the last week, it stopped recognizing any of the hard drives. I plug it in, you hear the hard drive power up. It recognizes that something's plugged in, but it doesn't show it in my computer. Uh, so none of those would work. And then all of a sudden, and then it wouldn't update. I was trying to update and it wouldn't update. And then all of a sudden, it just powers up to the Dell. So the motherboard is working and it will not boot the operating system. My guess is that it is not recognizing the internal hard drive. And I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get a Linux boot disk and run it from Linux and maybe try and do a virus scan and see if that's something going on.
Did you 5911 it?
Did
Or
I what?
do you know what that is? 5911? And it's an access thing specifically for tech issues.
No, I don't know what that is or how to do it.
Okay, so you just count. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then just 5, 9, 11, 5, 9, 11, 5, 9, 11. And they find that in access, like each number has a very specific significance, and 5, 9, 11, that combination is really good for technological issues, whatever's happening, or sometimes entities. It's good for that too if there's something going on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't tried that one.
Yeah, give it a try. You might be surprised. Like, just to give you an example, we had just learned about it in a class called Foundation, and me, Ryan, and Deanna all get in the car to go to lunch. And as soon as we start going, like the GPS is just all wonky. Like it's not bringing us to the right place. And I'm just like, well, let's try what we learned in class 5911, and we just did that. It blipped once, and it was worked after that. So there's something to it, whether it's a collective consciousness of a whole bunch of people believing it, or there's something with the numerology. Give it a try um, and see if it might do it for you. And then just the second part of Ace's question: when do you have an ETA for Ohio? I don't believe you do yet, but you believe it's coming in the somewhat near future, right?
Yeah. So everything kind of collapsed in all at the same time here in Hawaii, and uh, like, yeah, pretty much everything collapsed in. Not in a bad way. Things just concluded. So I'm like, okay, it looks like it's time to maybe do another week or two of walkabout. During that time, work on packing my stuff, and then head back to Ohio. I have some opportunities maybe up north to work with the Anishinaabe or Ojibwe. So I'm excited about that. So we'll see what happens.
Right. And then we have a question about Reiki. Ace was asking, how hard is it to learn Reiki? It's exceptionally easy. In fact, Reiki is one of those things that some people have it innately, or you pick it up from a sacred site and you don't even realize it. But the official class, it's pretty cut and dry. There's an attunement process that resonates you to the energy that's already there. So I give it the example of like a piano, right? If you sing a particular frequency that's in a piano long enough and you just stop, the vibration in that string in the piano starts. It's a resonance. So the string and that chord of energy is already in everybody to do Reiki, and all the class does is go in and it basically clings the string, so you remember it and it becomes stronger within you for you to use it. But you can use it for healing for yourself or for others. There's some schools in thought that it's only actually a process for inner work and enlightenment, and the healing part is a side effect. So there's a lot of different schools of thought around it, but it's fairly easy to learn. And
Reiki is just energy work. It's just the newest, latest, fangled name for energy work.
well,
Energy
it's not
work
the
has
newest
been.
anymore, but it is the most
Oh yeah,
recognized.
no,
It's,
it's not the newest anymore. But there's been, I mean, shamanic practices all around the world
right.
that have
Even
done energy work for thousands upon thousands of years. Information that has been passed down from Mu and Bun, that civilizations that predated this, at least 50,000 years before this, energy work has been passed down through the Hawaiian traditions, through the Tibetan traditions.
mhm.
Uh, Even the Vedic texts go back thousands of years describing this.
And it
Dr.
go ahead.
Usui
Sir. You're on
created,
the same page as me, actually. Go ahead.
yeah, Dr. Usui created Reiki as you had to be a native born Japanese person to go to this Japanese school of Reiki, which was just for enlightenment. In fact, it was forbade to be used for healing on yourself or others. Um, so then people broke off from that school and founded different schools of Reiki to use it for healing. And then people have created shamanic Reiki or angelic Reiki. You're just doing shamanic healing at that point in time. It's not Reiki, but people recognize Reiki. When you say you do Reiki, oh yeah, okay, I know what that is. And as far as the ease of doing it, you do not need any attunement. You do not need anybody to tell you can do it. You can do it right now. All you have to do is visualize it. I'll give you a quick visualization. It's a meditation I do. Well, I'll just start into the meditation. So this is the basis. There's a kind of a Peruvian twist to it as well. The way they do it is it's a little bit different, but it's still, this is something I've channeled, and then I've run into a bunch of different healers all around the planet that have channeled something identical. I call it Yashe, which is the Mayan name for the tree of life, or just call it the tree of life. Yggdrasil is what the Nordic traditions call it. So imagine roots coming out of your tailbone and your feet, going down into the earth, through the soil, through the rock, continuing to go deeper and deeper into the planet. Imagine those roots wrapping around the warm red core of the earth, the heart of Mother Earth. Feel it warm, glowing. That's the feminine love energy, earth energy. Imagine start bringing that up your roots, drinking it up. With each breath in, drink up more and more of that energy. Bring it up the bottoms of your feet, up past your ankles, up your calves, up past your knees, up past your hips. Push that energy up your spine. Imagine it coming out your neck, out your head. Now imagine branches growing out the top of your head, reaching out to the cosmos, spanning from infinity to infinity and beyond. Imagine unfurling leaves off of those branches and drink in through those leaves crisp, cool, cosmic light energy. Start drinking that light energy in, bring it in through the leaves, down the branches, down over your crown, cascading over you like a waterfall. Imagine that energy washing off any heaviness you feel. Starting at your crown, cleaning off your connection. Third eye, cleaning off any fears or anything blocking your vision. Your throat, blocking or clearing any blocks that have you apprehending, telling your truth, speaking, communicating. Off of your heart, washing off any sorrow. Your solar plex, washing off anything that blocks your personal power. Down your sacral chakra, anything that blocks your joy, anything that blocks your creativity. Down your root chakra, anything that has you stuck in a state of struggle or struggling to survive. Just wash that off with the light energy. Pushing it back down your legs, down your roots, giving it back to Mother Earth as a gift. All that heavy energy. Continuing to draw that light energy in. Focus on anywhere you feel heavy. Let that light energy wash it off. Pushing it into the earth. Giving it back to Mother Earth as a gift. Continue to draw that love energy up and the light energy down. Combine them in your heart. Let that expand and grow, glowing brighter and brighter. Then let your heart overflow into your solar plex chakra. Let your inner sun, your inner star start glowing brighter and brighter. Feel the warmth gathering there. Feel the power building. Let your heart overflow into your throat, letting you fully speak and know the truth. Let your solar plex overflow into your sacral chakra, your place of joy and creativity, the seat of feminine power, the energetic womb. Let your throat overflow into your third eye, letting you perceive clearly the higher dimensions, higher dimensional energy, opening you up to receive messages and visions. Let the sacral chakra overflow into the root, making you feel safe, secure, and supported, whole, solid. Let the third eye overflow into the crown chakra, opening you up to the higher dimensions to receive information and energy. Let the root chakra overflow into the grounding chakra between your feet, fully connecting you to Mother Earth. Let the crown chakra overflow into your higher chakras, your soul star, connecting you to your higher self, fully integrating your true essence to yourself and your perception, remembering all that you knew, all that you know, and all that you will know. Bringing in all the information from your past lives, all the abilities, all the learning, everything you've done. Let the soul star overflow into the divine gateway chakra, fully connecting you to Source, the Creator, the great central sun, the source of source. Now let the energy from Source flow into you, flow through your divine gateway, flow through your soul star, your crown, into your heart. Let those three energies combine in your heart, expanding out to fill your whole chest, your whole torso, and your whole energy field. Taking time to let that sink in. Now coming back to the webcast. So what I shared with you can be expanded upon, and there's more to that. That's kind of the short, speedy version. However, that is the basis for healing. You can do that for yourself. I suggest, especially if you're feeling heavy, this is an amazing way to ground. There's so many things that this technique can lead into. It's hard to go into them all, but really quickly, I highly suggest if you're just getting started, want to do healing, start doing this every morning and night and every time you get a chance. Go into nature, hug a tree, or sit by a tree and visualize this. You don't have to have your feet in the dirt. I highly suggest it, though. You don't have to be next to a tree to do it. I highly suggest it, though. Oh, I feel some energy bubbling off of someone, so that's good. Whoever's doing that, good. Keep it up. So the tree, you ground in. So if you are in a crowd and you feel overwhelmed, say you're an empath and you can feel you hate crowds because it gets you sick. Well, you can probably feel everybody's energy, everybody's emotions around you. So if you get overwhelmed when you're out in the crowd, do that. Do the Tree of Life exercise. Ground in and take any of that heavy energy or any chaotic energy and push it off back to the earth. If you're feeling drained, again, do the Tree of Life. Draw up the earth energy. Draw down that light energy. Draw in the source energy. And then if you need to do healing or want to do healing, to start off with, your hands are connected to your heart chakra. So imagine coming in, condensing all that energy into your heart and let it flow out your hands. And to do that, like the Tree of Life, you just visualize it. You visualize drawing it up, visualize drawing it in, and visualize it flowing out of your hands. And you should feel some warmth or tingling in your hands. You might feel some cool in your hands, depending on what type of energy is coming out. Typically, love energy or earth energy feels very warm. Light energy, to me, feels cool. Now, these are just names put to this energy. If it's something else to you and you perceive it as something else, feel free to call it whatever you like. People call it chi, prana, kundalini, energy. And
I call it Baskin Robbins. No, like literally, when I have a client, the question I ask to the universe is, what flavor energy does this client need for the greatest change in possibilities? And then I let it flow. And as a healer, if you can be but the hollow bone and the energy is always flowing through you, never to you, never from you, then you are literally becoming the redistribution center of all the energies of the cosmos. And you're taking all the heaviness of yourself and your client and letting it go wherever it's going to be of light and of use in the universe. And for me, that's kind of what that exercise is doing, is you're putting yourself in the place where you can really start to be in the flow and not subject to the flow in a sense.
There's a lot of fine things you can do, but when you're first starting out, something that I've found, pray. It's petitioning. You don't have to recite any dogmatic prayer. You don't have to recite any mantra. Pray with the highest prayer of your heart. But you can pray in English. And just like a conversation, it's really just opening up a conversation and petitioning. So if you are trying to heal someone, say, you can ask your light team. I call them light team, but that's archangels, guides, positive extraterrestrials, whoever you connect with. If it's your grandma who is a gypsy, who is an amazing healer that passed on, she can be part of your light team. Or in the Peruvian culture, they call it Yanapak. In Quechua, it's Yanapak. Am I correct on that one?
Yanapek. It's depending on, there's a lot of different dialects, but you got it. But that one is specifically 7 spirit beings, one of which is a family member in spirit that would have been responsible for holding the family together. But besides these 7 beings, you could have an extension of an infinite number of, entities that could be working for your betterment and positive contributions and everything like that. But there's many different cultures, including spiritualism, the Paco Kuna tradition of shamanism, that specifically has 7 as a core band, and then extensions beyond that may come and go throughout your lifetime and that kind of thing.
Okay, so yeah, so you can be fancy and call it something cool, or you can just say light team. Yep. And you can even have it set up like you can preset. You can call in each person in the light team if you feel called to do so. You might feel a nature spirit want to work with you, some deity want to work with you, an angel want to work with you, some of their ancestors that want to work with you to help them. As long as they're 100% light, you can call them in. There's some dark things that might want to come in and do not let that. So that's why I say light team. I invite my light team. Everybody who's light that, works with me. So I have certain angels I work with. I have I have my own light team. So I say light team, come in and help. And even if you don't know how to do this, even if you can't feel the energy, even if you have no clue what you're doing, I'll be honest, when I walk into a healing session, I have no clue what I'm going to do most of the time. I'll walk in, I might start with a base exercise, a base healing technique, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and then part of it, when I start getting in their energy field, I start feeling things. I start getting messages. And it's kind of on an as need to know basis. So if you don't know what's going on, don't worry about it. If you're not getting messages, don't worry about it. They will come when you need it. But you don't even have to get messages. You can put your hands out over that person and say, light team, hey, guys, I need help. Can you come please help me? I still will do that sometimes.
Or for that matter, calling in the light team of your client, because you have a light team, they have a
Yeah,
light team, and sometimes when you get both of those groups together, a lot of amazing stuff can happen when they're just aiding with the process. This is a little out of context now, but when you were talking about some of the work you wanted to do when you moved back, that Angela was saying that she was a Chippewa. I'm going to mispronounce the next word, but you can pronounce it probably correctly.
Oh, Chippewa, Ojibwe. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
How
there's
cool is
that.
that?
And this was what prompted our whole dialogue, though I never brought up the comment that she was told by a traditional healer shaman that she's a healer and to practice working with energy, but Reiki was not the way for her to go. And I think Brian gave you a great tool to start with that. And I'll tell you, I've trained in Reiki with 3 different teachers, and none of them were the same. But what I found each of them said is, this is the way. And so, and when you think about Reiki, there's like over 400 types, if not more, Reiki now, because everybody gives it their own flavor. And that's the real important thing, is whatever healing modalities you learn as a base technique, don't box yourself in to whatever their quote unquote rules are. The idea is you get a taste of the energy and you build upon it based on your own experience, adding your own intuitive knowings, because you are the greatest contribution to you that you could be. You don't need anything outside of yourself, but things like classes can help springboard you to your own awarenesses. So if you do decide to use Reiki or any other modality, just use it as a springboard to jump to your own heights and not as the end all be all of how things work. Not that you would, Angela, but I'm just, I could see a lot of people in the classes that I took where, this was going to be the only thing that they were going to do. And it can be very limiting then. So don't box
Yeah.
yourself into a corner with whatever you do choose to learn.
Yeah, I've heard people that have taken Reiki 1, they're like, well, I can't work on clients or I can't work on other people until I take Reiki 2, but I'm not really going to be good enough until I take Reiki 3, then I'll be a Reiki master. And
The original attunement process of the Dr. Uzui is people sat in a circle, they held hands, and he ran energy through them. And the whole attunement process was developed later. And that was never, it
Yeah,
wasn't like he was gifted, here's how you pass on the gift. No, he got it. He went to a natural hotspot up on a mountain. And he was in the energy where there was a natural, what we call waka, an eye, a natural portal to the upper world. And he was attuned to it. Like he came into resonance with that energy. And then he was able to pass it on just by running that energy, and then came up with more potent ways later. And if you really want to, if you don't feel it innately with like Brian's exercise, go to look up a little hotspot by you, or any church will do, because those are all natural portals to the upper world. And there's you just kind of open yourself up to that upper world energy. If Reiki had been discovered in Peru, it would have been called a Kanchai. It's Reiki is just with the lenses of one particular culture, and it's emerged in many different cultures based on other people getting the same intuitive knowings. Just like Brian said, like all the healers, how many healers have you run across that all had a very similar process with their healing art?
yeah, there's so many. And really, you don't even need to do that. There's different levels. When I first got it started, what I was doing is praying, which now is even then, but you're petitioning for higher dimensional beings to help you and do the work for you. Even your higher self, you can petition your higher self to do this work for you. You can petition God or Source to do this work for you if you don't know how to do it. Then when you start feeling the energy, you can go in and, okay, I'm going to start pulling off that. Like if it feels hot and burning and almost like acid, that's negative energy or heavy energy you got to clear. If it's buzzing and chaotic feeling, you can clear that out to where their energy feels smooth and warm. Then you get to a point where you can see it and you go, oh, I know what's going on. So you go in and then you start popping the hood with the psychological aspect, working with the mental body. Okay, why is this energetic problem happening. So really, you want to work on all three bodies accessible down here, and then you want to start working on higher bodies as well. Start working with their higher self. Start working with all these different past lives selves. So that's beyond the three bodies here.
I call it a total being healing.
Yeah, you want to work with the physical body, the mental body, which has the emotions, and the energetic body. So the mind, body, and spirit. So, or you can say mind, soul, and spirit, because soul is your identity. That is your mental body. That is your emotion.
You know what I've been starting to use recently for the tagline of HHH? I used to be like solutions from body, mind, and spirit. I went to solutions for body, being, and beyond, because you're more than your body, you're more than your being. It's way bigger than we have words for. Body, being, and beyond kind of covers everything. So when you're opening up to those energies, what energy could I be here to facilitate a change in both my body, being, and beyond, and for my client, etc.? You're just opening up to infinite possibilities then instead of limitations.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of my techniques I've gotten from going places. I'll go somewhere and it'll just pop into my head. I'll be doing a session and I need to heal them in heal something I've not encountered before, and all of a sudden it'll pop in my head and it works. I'm like, okay, stick that in the toolbox.
Yeah, one of the things that you gave me that as soon as you said it made so much sense, and I realized I had even run into it, is like when you have an entity that you try to clear and it keeps coming back, and it turns out to being a piece of that person's soul that's so wounded and so dissident that you actually have to send it out of time and space to learn and grow before it can be reintegrated. And that was just like, oh my gosh. And I find that it happens a lot with like PTSD clients where that have like military experience or an equal level of trauma from that type of area, that they just have a part of themselves that's really fragmented. It's anyway.
Yeah,
That was just one
that
little example. The second you told me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've run into this at least twice, and now I know how to fix it." and
I
so,
know, and it makes so much sense. I don't know why I never thought of it before. Ione actually was the one who taught me that. And that here comes another way to get technique. Working with other healers, having this exchange. Do as many exchanges as you can with people that you feel are good. If you feel that like you get a bad feeling from them, don't do a healing exchange, because people can lay some really heavy energy on you if they do not have good intention or their energy is not good and they haven't worked on it. So be picky about who you let work on you. Make sure you have a good feeling about working with them. But pay attention. As they do techniques on you, you're absorbing that energy. So then you can energetically do that technique as well.
yeah, Angela has a comment too. Like, finish your thing. I just want to throw this in before it gets too past once you've made the comment. But she was saying that it feels like cold balls of energy in certain spots on her husband, but she doesn't know why this was. If there's any
Oh,
intuition in that.
that can be a couple things. Cold spots. What is the physics definition of temperature? It's the average amount of kinetic energy in a substance. So if you feel a cold spot, that means there's not much energy there and it needs energy. So it either is injured and it needs more energy, or there is an entity there sucking energy. So that's oftentimes when I feel an entity on someone, it sometimes is a cold spot on them. Although sometimes it's a hot spot, but usually it's a cold spot because this energy is an energy vampire. It's just sucking in all the energy and it feels cold.
And just to offer too, knowing what the cold energy is or what's wrong with the client isn't necessarily a place to go. The question to be would be in the solution, not the problem. And then to ask, well, what energy could my body, being, and beyond be to facilitate a change in a different possibility with what's going on in your husband? And then you tap in that, or put it in layman's terms, what flavor Baskin Robbins ice cream do I need in order to change this? So that, because I look at energy like Baskin Robbins flavors, right? Like there's just an energy for everything, a different flavor for everything, and you just need to ask the question, what energy would facilitate a change, and be open to flowing, allowing that to flow through you. And then the what it is isn't necessarily as relevant because you're taking care of it with the solution. Though the Western mind likes to know what we're working with. So if that's the
Yeah.
case, then absolutely ask the question, but know that it's not necessary. And let's
And
see.
one of the greatest ways to ask what's going on with someone is ask what's going on. Say truth. What are you feeling about this? And by saying truth, it makes the truth come out. Even if they don't tell you what's going on, you can get an idea from their reaction. So, okay, truth, have you had a trauma with this happen? And you'll feel that. Or truth, when did this start? Or you don't even have to say truth, just ask them. Just say, when did you first notice this? I noticed it when I got in the car accident and I had this big trauma, or I noticed it when I went here, or I noticed it when I went to that place. So you can start getting an idea. There's no shame in asking. I am very good at asking targeted questions using my intuition to have people give me the answer. So typically, instead of telling people what's wrong, I'll ask questions to get them to answer their own
Yeah.
own
Oh,
question.
and then they come to their own awareness, and it's that much more powerful when they have their
Yeah,
own, oh, aha, no one told it to them. Through a process of questions, you allow them to come to their own awareness, which is always beautiful. Nanette
and
was saying
then
that,
they
oh, but
then they can't deny the answer because it came from them.
yeah.
So if you tell them the answer, so even if I know the answer right away, I'll ask a series of questions to get them to that answer on their own. So I don't even have to tell them because it's more powerful if the answer comes from
But
within.
but
And they'll
it
believe
is
it.
sometimes a little bit problematic to try to facilitate family. I have oftentimes tried to throw questions to my wife when things are when I know things are going on, and it doesn't end well sometimes with family. So being that it's your husband, uh, you may want to see if it feels like to try that or not. But Annette was saying she's taken Reiki 1 and 2, and I assume she's talking about your process, that she was feeling she shouldn't do this until she completed level 3, and that's entirely, you do what feels light for you. And a level 3 would actually be advanced. Well, depending, there's all kinds of different Reiki systems out there, but in the traditional Uzui method, it would be Reiki 1, Reiki 2 Art, which is advanced Reiki training, where you learn like psychic surgery and really start working with your healing grid, and then master level. And I was going to be teaching that in August, but with COVID, I kind of pushed everything off. I'm thinking maybe in October. So if you are in the mood for ART and master, I should be having that probably in October or early November. And we go on field trips when I teach it because I like doing the traditional attunement style, and then also taking people to a Waka natural eye and doing a more Paco version of an attunement where you would call in the energies of all the people who have come up with it, and all that, and you pakui it down into the being, and it's kind of a karpai, an exchange of information using the mesa. So I'd like doing it a couple different ways so you have a little bit of a different point of view and perspective around those types of things.
It's interesting. Out of almost all the modalities, the Reiki is the one that is like the most close-minded. It has to be this packaged lunchbox, sort of whatever. And I've had people, people that make it to Reiki master just tout that like it's a title, like they're the, above the Pope and everything. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Oh, and here's a
Uh,
very interesting question too. She's heard that you can cause harm from doing Reiki. Is that true? Point of view
uh,
to reality.
well, yeah, you can really, it's akin to black magic. If you have bad energy or ill intent and you're pushing it to that person, absolutely. And again, looking at Reiki as just another energy modality. If I'm pushing hateful, nasty energy to someone, that can really hurt someone. You can actually weaponize it.
Right.
In the Hawaiian culture or in the Aboriginal culture, you can do basically what's called pointing the bone in the Aboriginal culture and kill people. Like, not just like, oh, hurt their spirit, push some bad voodoo at them, or bad mojo. No, you can physically kill them
And
with this
that is
technique.
why it's very important for intention, 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 your muna, your declaration of will into the universe. And I'll give everybody a really good affirmation to start with healing or reading work. And this is from what we use at Fellowships of the Spirit in Lilydale. This is from my teacher, Elaine Thomas, slightly modified to be more accommodating for healing. But it goes, oh God, as we open the door to communication and healing in the unity of the Holy Spirit, the great I am presence of the universe, we give thanks for we know that the word spoken and the experience received is full of your grace, wisdom, love, truth, and understanding of the highest. Saying something like that or your own version of it before you sit down for a healing session, you're already conditioning, like, this is what I'm opening up to. These are the parameters in which I am flowing the energy. In shamanism, when you look at the left side of the mesa, the left side is the raw and domesticated power of the universe. The same energy to heal is the same energy to kill, and it is just the conduit, the the conductor of the symphony that is conducting the energies is the difference between how the energy is being used. So it's really good to do your inner work and make sure that you're refining yourself and all that, so that when you're stepping into that space, you're only of the highest, and I don't even want to say highest and best intention, because in the absolute level there's no good and evil, but you really want to be in the space where you're going to be creating ease, possibility, change, and healing for your client, because that's what, that's what this stream's all about, and what we're advocating you use these types of things for.
Yeah, what I measure it by is it loving? In other words, is it respectful? Is it treating them with the highest love? And not like, oh, I'm in love with them. No, am I treating them with respect and love and treating them like they're a creation of the creator? And that can extend on all levels, whether it's animals, humans, the land. It's coming from a place of love. Are my actions loving? And that's a great way. One, you do that unconditional love. This is what the Kahuna in the North talked about. He would always, talk about these morals, and at the top of his pyramid was unconditional love. So if you measure everything through unconditional love, everything falls in place.
Yeah. Or another one would be the four absolutes from the Oxford group, also used by A. Is it loving? Is it selfless? Is it, I can't remember now. Is it loving? Is it honest? Is it pure? I can't remember it. But there's four different things you check every action against, and if it checks against the four absolutes, then you know that it will be a contribution. And Sunshine Robinson was just confirming or agreeing. Attention is huge, and thanking Brian for the amazing intentions. And Nanette was then saying that her husband has nerve damage. She can feel my energy when I work on him, and I felt perhaps I could cause damage.
No, if you're setting good intention, I really don't feel like positive energy could cause any sort of damage. And back to the, mixing Reiki with other modalities, I've had so many Reiki people say, oh, I'm doing my Reiki attunements. I can't receive any other initiations. I've gone all around the world, and I have not found any, well, I mean, any positive, any light traditions of light. Now there are dark traditions out there that use black magic. That's no bueno. That's not good. Um, but like it, every modality that I started with, every modality that I learned with is a springboard, and adding more tools to your toolbox can only enhance you. More energies that you can bring through, more things you can. So don't. I know a lot of Reiki teachers try to limit what you get exposed to, and oh, you can't receive any other energy; it'll mess it up. No, it won't. You don't need any other energies than what you already have. So I've been traveling the world trying to search out this energy and that energy, and granted, it has enriched me. But in the absolute, I did not have to leave my little hometown to have the energy I have. It's the experience which has brought me greater wisdom. However, to be able to do the energy work I'm doing now, I could have done that all in my town. It all comes from within. So you don't have to turn to an outside source to receive an initiation or be opened up, go to a sacred site to have get this or that. You don't have to go to this ceremony. It's all from within.
I will say though that if you are learning something, if it doesn't feel light, then honor your knowing too, because though you can do multiple initiations and things, there's also the possibility that if you have the point of view that it's too much and you're feeling heavy, or your body is requiring something or anything like that, follow your knowing. Because when I first started, I went through Reiki 1 through Master within like 4 months, and then I also did Spiritual Insight Training 1 and 2 at fellowships and a Lomi Lomi class, and I had a crisis healing. It was basically like I had all this upper vibrational stuff, and I had an etheric dump, if you will, like all the stuff that was too heavy that didn't resonate with all the higher stuff. I just got really, really ill because I was purging. And so there's a little bit of things to be said that do what feels light for you. And if it's sometimes you want to regulate or possibly, but everybody's different. Everybody handles energy differently. So it's really important to start asking questions like, what is going to be the greatest contribution for you and your body for whatever it is that you'd like to learn.
That's a very good point. You need to listen to your intuition. You'll know And if you're feeling overwhelmed, there's no shame in tapping out or hitting the pause button. If you are doing too much spiritual, or you're doing going to too many sacred sites and you just feel like you're having a healing crisis or things are crumbling, coming from me, this is kind of funny, but there's no shame in tapping out. There's no shame in saying, hey, I need to take a break. Let this reintegrate. If you are feeling overwhelmed, I highly suggest you take a nap. That'll reset. Sometimes after you receive a big healing or a big activation, go to a sacred site. You need to rest and reset, and you'll feel better.
Yeah. Or hug a tree. Like really, it does.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. It is. Oh, trees are a natural waka too. They're these eyes, these portals that cross between worlds. You have the roots going into the Uhu Pacha, the underworld, the trunk in the Kai Pacha, and the leaves reaching up to the Hanak Pacha. And so trees are a great way to take whatever energy you have and really help to feather out the energy. And also ask the tree to teach you how it takes the four elements and makes something new. And that will teach you as a healer how to take all the energies and to put them into the stream, if you will, to be the hollow bone, to take them and to cultivate them into other things. So trees are the Mauki in Paco tradition, the Mauki Kuna, the tree people, and they are beautiful. And it's a great energy to learn from, great entities to learn from.
Yeah. And so back to the basics of healing, that tree of life exercise, pulling earth energy up, light energy down, source energy down, combining it, letting it flow out your hands. That's really the basics. You can pray and let them handle it. You can petition for that to happen through prayer, let them handle it. You can actually use your energy and knowing to manipulate it and move the energy, fix the energy, pull out the negative energy. And then you start to get into more advanced traditions, knowing that um, the water energy is for emotional healing, the earth energy is physical healing. Then going through each different energy and understanding what it's for. But that's when you start to study more and understand the elemental energies and what each one's used for. So then you can go, oh, they need emotional healing. I'm going to flow water energy at them. That's when you kind of jump up to where you're taking more of the responsibility. Then you'll get to a point where you can see, know, feel, and then you can kind of go in and go, oh, I see that energy thing on them. I'm going to remove that, that's foreign to their energy, and I'm going to go in, sew this up, or, you set the intention again, do this, and you have a more active role. Then you can do it hands free. You just look at them and go, okay, I'm going to heal them. And this is very helpful. So if you see a little old lady walking down the street in horrible pain, bent over, you can, send her some energy, and you might see a little pep in her step. All of a sudden, she'll start walking a little bit faster. She'll stand up a little bit straighter, and you can just start helping strangers. Or you'll see people hunched over, and you see what's attached to them, what demons are riding on their back, and ooh, buddy, you got something bad on you. I'm going to yank that off. So there's these different levels you can work at, but do not discount any of the levels. If you cannot see, feel, hear any of those higher senses, know that you can pray, and your prayer is just as powerful as being able to see, comprehend, and work at a very intricate, autonomous level. So by working on your own and doing this, that's great, and that's really a cool place to get. And I enjoy being able to work at that level. Yet at the same time, you can just pray. And then there's the astral projection and working further. So it can get really complicated, but those are more advanced levels. But it's as simple as just praying or having the intention for the energy to flow.
All right, a couple more comments here. Then we do need to wrap because I'm determined
Yeah.
not to have a 2 hour show where I'm going to be all sleepy in the morning. But Ace was asking if for next time we could talk about Midwest sacred sites. So we can, I have
Yeah.
I'm sure Brian has been to more of them than I, but we can definitely talk about some more things that might be local. I know it's not necessarily Midwest, but Sacred Serpent Mound is near and dear to my heart, and I've had done a lot of things there. Going to West Virginia in about a week too, so I'm going to be seeing some sacred sites in that neck of the woods. And then Sunshine Robinson was just saying that she's absolutely grateful for this frequency. Brian, thank you for this link. Manifesting this learning experience. Blessings to everyone watching as well. And then Angela was saying that everything you guys are saying sounds so right. I'm so thankful and grateful for being able to speak with you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and advice. You're very welcome. Thanks for asking the question. See, when people ask questions and make comments, it totally shifts where the show can go. So we really
Oh yeah.
appreciate all that. Nanette was saying, I truly need to hear all this tonight. Thank you. Walekia Wilka Penny Chai. You're welcome, Sacred Soul Sister. And then Sunshine Robinson, also blessings to you all. I needed this so much. You're very welcome. Any final thoughts? Any final uh, well, we have our topic for next week that we can kind of work on. And next week we'll be on. The week after that, well, I gave Brian access to the software now. So if I can't be on, Brian could still stream because a week from Tuesday, I'm going to be out of town and I don't know if I'll have good internet or not. I will try to be on, but we'll find out. And if not, Brian could maybe find a guest or something, or just stream solo for a little bit. But we'll figure that out.
So yeah, I could do that. I might even be in the stateside by then. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm excited about coming back. I can't wait to do webcasts together in person. That's going to be amazing.
Midnight
Get some big
Meanderings
events.
from the center. Ooh, that will be fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. As much as well, the one thing I got from Maui and talking to people is I can come back. I really didn't want to leave because I worked so hard to get to a tropical place where I didn't have to experience winter, where I didn't have to go through the seasons. And then I'm like, wait, I can come back. I can manifest things so quickly, so easily. I came to Hawaii with nothing. And look at what I built. I can go back to Ohio, and I really want to get this up and working. I now have a lot of people that are interested in setting up classes, traveling worldwide, doing workshops worldwide, setting up a healing center, hopefully in Hawaii, maybe Maui, maybe Kauai. But I have a lot of people now interested in doing the same thing. So if we can get people that are great at marketing, if we can get people that can organize the events. I'll be honest, I hate the business aspect. I have no qualm about being the archetypal shaman on the mountain. When I was in Australia, when I was on top of Mount Wollumbin, it just came to me. I was like floating on cloud nine. I'm like, okay, this is it. I had so many people just randomly coming up to me asking spiritual information or telling me their problems or where they're in pain. And I was working on them. I was doing healing. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to put a Facebook post. If you want healing, come seek me, bring food and water, and I'll be up there indefinitely. So, I still wanted to just live up there. I thought that would be amazing. But I like that aspect. That is what makes my soul sing, helping others, teaching others. And I just want the abundance to be able to flow so I can do that. I can travel around the world helping people. And it's really a cool thing to go into these new towns where nobody knows you. You see problems, you see people hurting, and you help them. You see the shift in their life. You see the smile come to them, and you go, you know what? This is all worth it. Any of the discomfort, any of the hard times, it just makes it all worth it to see the difference you make. People that were going to commit suicide and are still here today because you help them come to an answer that they couldn't find on their own. They're in pain and you help the pain go away. And all of a sudden, it isn't about, I'm not a mechanic for the meat suit. I can patch it up. Don't get me wrong. Your body is important. It is one of the important things to do. Take care of your physical body, your mental body, and your energy body. You need to work on all three to be able to attain higher bodies. However, I'm not here to deal with all these aches and pains. Yes, I'll help you with that. I'll help you get your body to where it needs to be. But I'm here to help you realize your potential through connecting to your higher self and divinity. That's why I'm here. And that's what I want to do. I need help, either a business manager or someone who has business sense. Maybe, I know you're great with that, but if we can get some marketing people on to help us and start building a team so that I don't have to worry about the business stuff. Maybe you don't even have to worry about the business stuff. We can be doing what makes our hearts sing and helping people. That's my goal. Get a
Sounds
team
like
set up so
a good time.
everybody has their own unique abilities, and we can make a change in the world. We can help people.
I think you're speaking the wish of a lot of healers around the world. Just going to read this comment, then I'm just going to close with close the space since I opened space, and then we will call it a night. But she was just saying, Sunshine Robinson, we've talked. I'm ready to help. I can't believe this is happening. Whatever it is to share this healing, so much love to give. Very cool. So just before I close down the space, just one more time, tapping into that energy of the Saman Jakui, Father's Rain, allowing your energy field to open up to the upper world, the Hanak Pacha, and this purple iridescent rain cascading down through your entire being, both known and unknown, effortlessly washing away any heavy energies on all aspects of being, all levels of existence, all the way down to the bottom of the energy field, creating this beautiful package of hucha, this heavy energy that we gift to our beloved Earth Mother, retaining only the pearls of wisdom from the experiences without hanging on to any of the trauma, drama, or story that caused them. Yari samanchukui, ompui, ompui, ompui. And just continuing to allow that healing rain to run, we'll be thanking the entities and spirits that have been with us. Ahaya Pachamama, Nike, Nike, Nike. Iari Mama Unu, Mama Kocha, Mama Kia, Nike, Nike, Nike. Iari Texelerpu, Nike. Ahaya. Wilka Chaiwa, Nike, Nike, Nike. Iari Wilka Hatan Waira, Nike, Nike, Nike. Iari Kuntar Sawarkinti, Nike, Nike, Nike. Ahaya, inti taita, wilki inti taita, a Nike, Nike. Ahaya, kuchikuna, a Nike, Nike. Iari yanapekuna, and our light team, a Nike, Nike. Iari apukuna, nustakuna, a Nike, Nike. Ahaya, wilka nuna chaska, kuna, a Nike, Nike. Iari burakocha, Nike, Nike. Arpi chai songolai. Arpichai Songolai, Arpichai Songolai. And with that, thank you everyone for being with us today. We'll be back next Tuesday, Brian and I, for another Midnight Meanderings, and we will definitely look to talk about some Midwest hotspots as well.
I'll have to pull up the pictures from Serpent Mound. I even have a video of my drone going over Serpent
Oh, I
Mound.
forgot about that. We can play that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
He has this video from the Serpent Mound, but well, actually, we should play it first, and then we'll talk about how it was created because it's really cool. Like when I found that out, I was like, "Really? That's awesome!" So no spoilers this time. We'll wait.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have
I'm excited though. Oh man, all the mounds and sacred sites, and oh yeah, this is going to be a cool episode.
After West Virginia, I might be going back down to Serpent Mound. I'll see. Like, I just need to get Ross a camera, but Ross Hamilton. Well, I don't. We would have to stream earlier. I don't know if he's going to stay up till midnight. But Ross Hamilton would possibly be able to come on as a guest. I just have to get him a camera. So, and for those of you who don't know who Ross Hamilton, he was featured on Ancient Aliens. I've had him come out and do different talks in the Mound when I've taken groups down there, and he's literally written multiple books on the Serpent Mound and other sacred sites. So he's like one of the biggest authorities on the matter, and a lot of amazing knowledge to offer. So that might be something coming up. If not on our show, I'll definitely have him on. He said he's willing. I just need to get him a little tech. Cool. How does it get any better than that?
I know. What else is possible?
All right, guys, but thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next time. If you're going to go back and watch in the replay, please make sure to share the video, start a watch party, and help us spread the contagion of consciousness. Aloha. Well, actually, that's Brian's line. Thanks.
No, everybody can use aloha.
All right. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Aloha.